I want to share with you a story, a tale of two families, and it's going to be relevant for your family too. It doesn't matter to me whether you are an ultra high net worth family that we're talking to, a family office manager that deals in the high net worth space, or whether or not you're just starting your family, you wouldn't consider yourself to be wealthy or rich. The principles here apply across all different sizes of family wealth, from little to no wealth up to uber wealthy. And the tools that they use, while they may be a little bit different depending on where you're at in the social economic status, it's important to have this discussion so you can start planning and reach out to me about this. And what if I told you there is a way that you can create generational wealth for your family for pennies on the dollar that avoids income tax and estate tax, as well as sets your future generations up to be as giving and philanthropic as you want them to be, while at the same time preserving your retirement well-being, your financial status, and your ability to do the things you want to do while you're still alive. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going. In the description section, there's an opportunity to schedule a 15-minute phone call with me. Let's do that. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about the difference between the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. Now, you know these names. These are not uncommon names. The Rockefeller family is one of the most well-known families in U.S. history. You may have heard of their names splashed upon famous buildings like Rockefeller Center, Rockefeller University, Rockefeller Foundation, and their long sustained legacy is what makes this prominent family a prime example of what it means to create and preserve generational wealth. So John D. Rockefeller founded Standard Oil in 1870, and the company would go on to control 90% of all U.S. refineries and pipelines. And according to the World Scholarship Forum, Rockefeller became the richest man in the world and one of the first to make billions. The family fortune was valued at over $600 billion in today's dollars at that time. The Standard Oil Company would later evolve into ExxonMobil, Chevron, that everybody knows today. The Rockefellers also developed one of the first major business trusts, which controlled Chase Manhattan, now known as Chase Bank. And the Rockefellers went on to establish themselves as industrialists, philanthropists throughout U.S. history. According to today, the family's net worth, and there's about 70 heirs that are still alive, is worth $8.4 billion in today's dollars. Rockefeller himself is said to have gifted over $500 million in charities, and the family ethos or mantra of philanthropy holds very strong today. Various Rockefeller family trusts have helped fund projects ranging from arts, conservation, healthcare, and international trade. The most prominent family member of the modern era was David Rockefeller, who passed away in 2017. At the age of 101 years old, he was not only the family's wealthiest member at $3.3 billion, but was the world's oldest billionaire before he passed. He earmarked most of his fortune towards good causes, and his son David Jr. currently chairs the family foundation. Other prominent descendants included fashion designer Ariana Rockefeller and retired politician Jay Rockefeller. And really, the Rockefeller wealth started with simple estate planning. The majority of the family fortune was held in two trusts called the 1934 Trust and the 1952 Trust, managed by Chase Bank. Both of these trusts hold interest in the descendants of Standard Oil Company, plus other investments such as real estate. The fortune amassed was so large that the family founded Rockefeller Financial Services, which enlists professional money managers to oversee the holding company. They have 5 separate arms overseeing wealth building activities such as investments, venture capital, family businesses, family liability, and risk management. The Rockefeller method of estate planning, which I'm going to show you here in a second, has succeeded for over 6 generations through a careful family constitution and irrevocable trust with life insurance. In addition, the family ensured that the trust would remain well-funded because of those proceeds with the life insurance policies for each family member, each passing family member. Now let's talk about the Vanderbilts. The Vanderbilts, many cultures around the world know about how a family can go from rags to riches and then back from riches to rags within 3 generations. These axioms are backed by data as well as According to the NASDAQ, 70% of families lose their wealth in the second generation. 90% lose their wealth by the third generation. And remember, the Rockefellers are going on 8 generations. While the Rockefellers managed to resist this outcome, the Vanderbilts lived to tell us a cautionary tale. So how it started, right? The Vanderbilts were heralded as American royalty and the icons of the Gilded Age. The rich history started with Cornelius Vanderbilt, who began to amass the family fortune from railroads and shipping businesses in the late 1800s. He became the wealthiest person in America in 1860 and went to pass that title down to his son, William Henry Vanderbilt. The latter, William Henry Vanderbilt, was the wealthiest American during the 1870s and 1880s. Obviously, we've all heard of Gloria Vanderbilt, the granddaughter of Cornelius, and she inherited a large fortune, but it had already began to erode. Her father had a gambling habit and squandered most of his fortune. Also, Gloria's mother risked spending the inheritance through frequent international travel. Gloria herself would go on to have 4 sons, each from different marriages. One of her sons in society is Anderson Cooper, right? So we all know that name. How it's going today is that the notable descendants of the Vanderbilt estate include the 12th Duke of Marlborough, screenwriter James Vanderbilt, actor Timothy Oliphant. By the time of Gloria Vanderbilt's passing, her estate had gone from $200 million down to $1.5 million. Her New York apartment was bestowed to her son Leopold, while 2 of her other sons remained estranged. Only one of the 4 sons inherited the majority of the estate, who is none other than Anderson Cooper. Cooper, however, takes a strong stance against the family's fortuners. He never planned on inheriting money from his family, which is good because they didn't have much to give him. So what happened was the Vanderbilt family legacy was riddled with discord, gambling, alcoholism, affairs, and even suicide. Once known for their lavish spending and philanthropy, the Vanderbilt fortune was squandered for the most part by the middle of the 20th century. It's even said that one of the grandsons of Cornelius Vanderbilt passed away in a state of poverty. Today, none of the Vanderbilt founded companies remain within the family. They've got nothing left. They've got the name, but none of the money. So what caused the difference? The difference in these 2 stories is a perfect juxtaposition on what can happen without proper planning and good communication inside of the family. So what we want to take a look at is how we can use what we call a family office or a family office type structure. And whether or not you're in the family office space is okay, whether you think you've got assets for the family office. Listen to these concepts for your family. At the center of everything is family governance structure. So making sure that you, your spouse, generation 1, if you're going to leave money to generation 2, to generation 3, to generation 4, you write down your governance. What do you want to happen with the money? What do you want them to do with the money when they inherit it? What are your wishes? Think about it like a family love letter that they read after you're gone, but they can't leave it open for interpretation. It does what it says it does. And that's where a trustee or a guardian would come into play to make sure that those assets are distributed in the manner in which you want that to happen. But the way that you create the waterfall from one generation to the next is you utilize properly structured life insurance inside of your family structure. So it's not just about investments. It's not just about retirement. And this is only for those people that really want to leave generational wealth. If you're of the mindset, well, I'm going to die, I don't care what they've got, well, this video is not for you. You probably already stopped watching this video beforehand, but if you haven't, you can stop now. But for those of you that want to take care of your loved ones, that want to leave a legacy, you want to go from success to significance, this is the type of structure that we can help you with, right? Making sure that, yes, life insurance is just one component of all of the other investment components in your family. But the other thing, and the Rockefellers would tell you this, they meet on a consistent basis as a family to talk about governance. What are they investing in? What are the projects? What's the philanthropy? And putting life insurance policies on all of the family members so that upon that family member's death, it creates a waterfall of cash and liquidity for the next generation. But the next generation can't just do whatever they want with it because it's subject to the family governance. And for those of you saying life insurance as an asset class doesn't make sense, well, I would argue that it does, because look at these pre-tax equivalent ROIs on the death benefit if someone were to pass away. 14 and a half, life expectancy at age 89 is still 6.5. That's better than a bond that would pay from an estate planning perspective or from an asset class perspective inside of your estate. So a couple things to consider. The traditional view of life insurance as an asset class is slightly incomplete. Most of them only view the expected return on the death benefit, but you also need to look at it as an asset class, the expected return on the asset class. And then when you apply leverage to the finance, to the structure, instead of making the premium payments yourself, assuming you qualify and have the net worth and the liquidity to qualify, life insurance carriers will allow premiums to be financed so that your assets can stay invested where they are. You don't have to divest them to then make a premium payment. You can use premium loan financing to purchase the life insurance policy, which creates even more leverage in the design. And so while the Rockefellers initially would not have had premium financing available to them, the new generation, the last 30 years of Rockefellers who have been applying for life insurance would have had the ability to get premium financing. And why would you do that? So why would you borrow money to pay for a premium on a life insurance policy? Well, it's because arbitrage. The dollars that you have to take to pay the premium, are they earning more money somewhere else? Are they invested in good assets? Are they invested in good investment opportunities where you don't want to divest them to pay a premium? It's cheaper to borrow the premium than it is to divest from your current asset classes. So premium financing can be an alternative. It involves borrowing the premiums needed from a commercial lender as opposed to paying those expenses out of pocket, right? The initial cost becomes the interest. The interest can also be accrued so long as there's sufficient collateral to be pledged. And we have a policy owner, the three parts: the policy owner, the lender, and the carrier. And I go back to the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts as a comparison. There is article after article. There is Rockefellers versus Vanderbilts, the importance of estate planning, successful dynasty trust in history, the Rockefeller family, how your business success can help future generations, talking about the Rockefeller plan, the Cornelius Vanderbilt story, building a Rockefeller insurance funded trust. This is what they call the Rockefeller plan or the waterfall method. You don't have to be uber wealthy to have this same type of mindset. Let's talk about family governance. Let's talk about a family love letter on how you want your family to spend the dollars when you're gone. And then let's create life insurance policies and create that waterfall of wealth for your family. So hopefully this has been helpful. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's be Rockefellers. Let's not be Vanderbilts. I'll see you in the next video.